Family Day is perhaps one of the biggest draws for the Sudbury Five, and today is no exception.
Starting for the visiting Montreal Toundra, Nervins Demonstein, Philip Flory, Jalen Smith, Levi Londole, and Corey Boyd, who's been a nice addition to this lineup for the Sudbury Five. It is AJ Mosby, Jalen Hayes, Dwayne Notice, Landon Kirkwood, and Raymar Morgan. We are underway, a Family Day matinee between the Sudbury Five and Montreal Toundra. And Dwayne Notice will take the ball up, gets it quickly to Jalen Hayes, looking for that backdoor cut and screen, and Hayes just cannot finish.
Just off the rim, good starting opportunity for Hayes, who wants to get on the board early.
Some holding as Kirkwood almost came away with the steal. And they're actually going to call it on Montreal. It'll be Sudbury basketball.
Early grappling in this game.
Yeah. Clutching and holding, so a turnover. And Sudbury Five back with the ball. Using the same play, the back screen to try to get Jalen Hayes free. They go inside. Posting up his man, Hayes. Backing down. Goes to the left hand. Shot good, Jalen Hayes.
Positioned his feet, managed to get the shot away without interference, and getting on the board early was imperative for Jalen Hayes.
Well, Jalen Hayes, a big part of this Sudbury Five team, looking to get him going again. He was a huge part of the KW Titans last year as well. Into the bucket, nice finish there by Philip Flory.
Five will have to protect that inside all game long.
Flory averaging 12.4 points a game for this team. Dwayne Notice for three. Raymar Morgan back up top. Hayes on the up fake. Gets it to Notice. Left all alone. Setting up shot. And no good as Hayes cannot get the weak side board.
Slick passing by the Five, almost connected.
Demonstein with the ball. Gets to his big man Corey Boyd into the corner. Philip Flory ready to shoot. And he hits.
Look who's got a hot hand early for Montreal. And a 5-2 Toundra lead.
Got to guard Flory. He's shooting 40% from the three this season. A turnover. Sudbury trying to hand the ball off with Mosby to Kirkwood, and it goes out of bounds off the five.
Bumping just in front of the scorer's bench. Someone miscommunicated their intentions.
So to give you an indication of how this series has gone, Sudbury 2-1 against Montreal. The first game was Montreal's first game. Was the shot no good? It was a 114-111 win for Sudbury. Then the next night, Montreal took down Sudbury 126-121 in an overtime thriller. And then January 20th, Sudbury took down Montreal here 117-86. Boyd trying to thread the needle through to his man cutting to the basket. Now Boyd gets it back up top. Inside Boyd, stolen away by Morgan, gets it ahead to Mosby, and a foul is going to be called to Corey Boyd.
Montreal playing with a lot more confidence than what we saw here earlier. Of course, they've had more games under their belt right now, a couple of impressive victories, and again, ready to take on the Five. Anytime a team wants to get on that bus and make the trip from Montreal to Sudbury overnight, ready, willing, and able.
A deep bench. They got 7 players on their bench ready to come in, so they can go pretty deep if they want to get out and run. Flory just hit a couple shots, takes it right to the basket. Nice defense, Jalen Hayes.
Hayes making up for that sloppy pass attempt there earlier on the rebound. Good play to recuperate.
Mosby loses the handle. Smith behind the back, goes right to head coach Logan Stutz. He's ready to shoot.
I'd like to see what he could do from three-point territory. Step across that line, see what happens.
You might wait till the second quarter so it counts for the Five and not Montreal. Kirkwood off the screen for three, rising up, Landon Kirkwood.
He can do that when the touch is rolling, and we saw A little bit of that on Saturday, not as much as the 5 needed, but Kirkwood could certainly light it up.
Kirkwood top 5 in the Basketball Super League in three-point shooting percentage. Nice work down low by Corey Boyd.
Boyd willingly got that ball up and in, battling off a couple of defenders. Foul called here.
Corey Boyd playing in just his 6th game for the Montreal Tundra. He's performed very well. He's averaging 16.2 points a game to go along with 8.6 rebounds. From St. Louis, Missouri.
Played some ball in Lithuania.
There's Kirkwood looking for another 3, rising up. And just rattles out. Inside there's Boyd going to work again, stripped away by Hayes.
We've seen some good defensive work by Hayes early in this game.
Now here's Raymar Morgan. Looking inside to Hayes, got bumped on the cut and a turnover. Fleury from way downtown.
It was almost another area code.
Almost another province, you would say. Dwayne Notice with the ball up top. Notice at 20.6 assists against KW, and he hits a 3.
Lots of time to get that shot away, and some of the Montreal members telling the refs, hey, you got to watch that holding, that grappling in front.
Fleury loses it, gets it out to his teammate. Rebound, comes ahead to Sudbury, up to Notice, stops, waits. And a foul is going to be called. AJ Mosby wanted Notice to put it up.
That's okay. Notice will take that. Contact made on the attempt.
And a timeout is going to be called. 8-7. Low scoring first quarter start.
Yeah.
Gotta love the Montreal jerseys, though. Those are some great looking jerseys.
Yes.
They
newer style.
They kind of match your sports
You
coat
like
almost.
This jacket.
Yeah,
you like this
I love
jacket.
it. It's great.
Hey, it's family day. I said let's break things up a little bit.
That's
You're going open collar
Yeah, I
today.
went casual.
Jacket. Hey, why not? It's family day.
Yeah, you got the nice pocket square. Looks wonderful. Raymar Morgan, he's been a nice addition to this lineup. He had 10.7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks against KW, but he's found himself in foul trouble both his 2 appearances with the Sudbury Five. How does he stay out of that, and how big of an impact is he?
Well, he's got to control his emotions too, because as we saw late Saturday, he came up with a crucial technical that assisted KW at the time, and the thing is, kind of took himself out of the play, and he's got to watch that. He can be aggressive, and the thing is, they need him for his rebounding ability and to play some good D, but again, thoroughly convinced that he's not up to where he wants to be physically in terms of being able to play and go all out. After all, when you're off for a year, you just don't practice for a week or 2 and expect to play at maximum ability. It's like anything else. I mean, we've seen it, and it's like us getting back to the court, to the ice, or anything else. It takes a while to ingratiate yourself back into the system.
And with him too, we expected him to play kind of limited minutes. First game, he plays 35 minutes, so you have to think, those bumps and bruises hurt a little bit more on the 3rd game in 5 days for the Sudbury Five. So, with Raymar Morgan just playing as hard as you can in those limited minutes and give them exactly what you said, that rebounding, that toughness, that grit that they need. And then players like Roman Wilson and Evan Harris can step in and contribute when they're called upon.
Well, it's important that Morgan provide that, especially down the stretch right now. I don't think the worry is as severe as it is, as it will be perhaps in late March or early April.
Hayes backing his man down, drops it to Kirkwood. It's free, saved. They're going to say stepping out of bounds is Montreal, so it'll stay with Sudbury.
Kirkwood initially couldn't find the handle to that, so they'll try to regroup here. Only 15 points near the halfway mark of the opening quarter.
Dwayne Notice through the legs, drops it down to Hayes. 5 on the shot clock, puts it up. Defense by Boyd.
couldn't get enough room to negotiate a shot.
Shot is short. That's Welsh. Now Boyd gets it into the corner. The shot short as well. Londol missed the second one.
Shooting percentages are taking a beating in the early going here.
Notice tosses it away. Mason is going to grab it. Antoine Mason is their leading scorer. He's got the ball right now. He's averaging 20.8. That's fifth in the Basketball Super League. Corey Boyd going to work down low on Harris, but some good defense.
He tried a couple of times, couldn't get by Evan Harris.
Pass in from Notice goes through the hands of Cody John. Some good defense from the Sudbury Five, but sloppy offense.
Yeah, some of those passing attempts and blind passes and what have you not working early. So guys have got to be on the same page. A 1-point lead, 8-7. Who would have thought? It's not like the NBA weekend where they set a record for points yesterday.
Yeah. Not a lot of defense played in that game. And when I say not a lot, I mean none. Jackson rising up. Myron Jackson into the game, adding that spark off the bench. Now here's a three from Montreal. It's good. Dominic Welsh.
Nice pass. Better shot and the connection for Welsh on that play, and the lead for Montreal by 2.
Here's Cody John using the screen. John from the free throw line hits the back rim and bounces out. Mason, floater, off glass, too strong. Pace picking up as Mosby tries a three.
Even the big guns for the Five are hard pressed to get one in early.
Mosby had the 28 points against KW on Saturday night, but just 4 points in that fourth quarter. As really the whole Sudbury Five team struggled. We mentioned it, outscored 32-20 in that fourth quarter. That was really the only downside to that game, and it ended up costing them. Jackson gets it to Mosby. Mosby has Flory on him. Double screen, gotta put it up. Does not hit rim.
Wow.
Mason ahead, and a turnover for Montreal.
Almost 8 minutes gone in this quarter, Nick, and it's only 10-7, 10-8 Montreal.
Yeah, sloppy play on both sides offensively. Turnover for the Toundra on that last pass. Now here's Cody John. He's going to put up a three and connects. 5-4-3.
Cody John on that passing attempt. Finally gets the Five up by 1.
There's a handoff by Marc-Andre Forte. Floater up and good. Welsh.
Well, Montreal responds rather quickly, getting the inside and getting the shot up.
Jackson, nice bounce pass and a big block there by Amari Haynes.
Good to see Evan Harris go for that bucket there. Unsuccessful. Foul called against Jackson. Looking for an explanation. May not like the answer, but it's fact.
Amari Haynes playing in just his third game for Montreal and contributing on defense. Getting the block on that play as Jalen Hayes will check out of the game. Raymar Morgan back in for Sudbury. Mason looking to back down on John. Call a foul on Cody John.
Both teams struggling here to get any kind of momentum going offensively in the game, with only 23 points. Somewhat surprising late in the opening quarter.
A foul off the ball as down goes Mosby.
anytime Mosby or Notice fall, I'm worried.
Yeah, Mosby kind of got caught on the screen and just tried to hold on for dear life before going down.
If you take either element out of the game due to injury, you know the 5 will be in trouble.
There's a shot, rattles in as the Tundra continue.
Keep pressing. They don't back off whatsoever. They attack well. If their shooting had been better, they'd be up by 10 or 15 by now.
Nice pass, another block. They're going to call a foul. Beautiful bounce pass by Raymar Morgan, who's looking for that little dump down. Jamiron Jackson gets inside, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Can't fault the effort there. Good attempt by the 5. Try to get something on the board right now. They've been stymied time and time again with only 11 points. It's like, who is this team? What's going on? But Montreal is playing well.
It is a family day here at the Sudbury Arena. Pretty cool. All the activities that were going on before the game. They had the court open to the public so the kids could come and play on the same court that the Sudbury 5 play on. Really cool experience, and you're seeing that growth of the game just continue with this Sudbury 5 organization.
Well, you've got to extend yourself in the community, and some franchises, whether it be hockey, baseball, or basketball, what have you, they don't do that. But the 5, at least the effort is there to try to engage, because after all, if the kids like what's happening, even when they're playing around on the court, they're going to tell mommy and daddy, I want to come back and see these guys. So they're here today watching the game, and chances are, if they like what they see, and if mommy and daddy like what they see, they'll come back, and then that following starts to develop. And you've got to engage the youth. It started with, I'm sure, it started with me, went to see whatever hockey, whatever sport, and if you like it, you're going to go back, and that's why we're lifelong fans.
And in each community, these teams are in Montreal as well, the camps that are being done, and we see it all the time. The teams, the basketball teams, the youth teams that come and watch the games,
yes,
and get to play at halftime, or there's a couple teams that get to hold the big Canadian flag at the start of the game, and just that engagement and the growth of the game with the youth is, I think, is absolutely wonderful, and this Family Day showcases it.
And where I think the 5 have got to do something, and I've been talking to owner Dario Zulich, is you've got to come back and put into play an annual high school tournament. If you want to go province-wide or just the north, but let's pack the place for a couple of days and have the 5 games at night, offer tickets and do what you can. I think that would be a great vehicle.
Love that. Love it.
Because don't forget, the high school kids, they actually, once they leave school, they may start working. They'll be earning money. They may want to come back.
Morgan cleaning up the garbage off the missed free throw.
That's why they brought him in, to be able to do exactly that.
Mason and John battling, trying to find Mason. Now he has it. He's got John on him. Goes inside, puts it up. And Harris grabs the ball. Mosby ahead to Jackson, back to Mosby, back to Jackson. The 3, it's good. Back and forth.
That spark from Jamiron Jackson paying off for the Sudbury 5. Some quick passing, very effective.
Into the corner, Forte going right at the body of Harris. And more good defense by the big man. John pulls up. And it falls. Cody
John starting to roll in some points as well. Jamiron Jackson, some quick transition play for the 5. And they're up by 5.
In some traffic, and a foul is going to be called, much to the chagrin of the Sudbury 5. Mambi Diawara will go to the free throw line.
But you'll see how Jamiron Jackson just adds so much in terms of that speed element to the 5 on the attack and backup court, and some teams can't recuperate quickly enough. And as we saw earlier too, just the quick passing, ball movement. Don't give the other team a chance to set and stand up to you.
at the free throw line. Diawara gets the second one to go. 75% free throw shooter. It's a 4-point lead for the Sudbury Five as the first quarter winds down. Mosby gets hit.
He was hit. Yeah, he's going to the line on that one.
Yeah, both teams in the bonus now.
Already unusual first quarter. Numerous fouls, both teams.
Mosby third in the league in scoring at 22.6 points a game. He's a 78% free throw shooter. And the second one is good. There's a long three and connects. Montreal getting back into it with a nice three.
That's how you respond.
Harris hands it off to Cody John. Stolen by Welsh. He's got Mason with him, drops it off to Diawara. Nice passing and the finish up top. Montreal with a couple straight points.
After getting his bucket just seconds ago, Welsh orchestrating that attack back down court.
Amari Haynes on the dunk. It's a 1-point lead. Now Harris hands it off to John. Going baseline, puts up the shot. It's short. Fortin with the rebound. Pulling up for three is Welsh. And the lead back to Montreal.
Welsh playing some good ball for the Toundra in this opening quarter. Dying seconds, and Montreal up by 2.
Shot clock, game clock separated by about 2 seconds. Mosby uses the screen. One-on-one Mosby into the key, puts it up, scoop, and finish. AJ all day.
I think they're going to put a few seconds or some semblance of time back on the clock here.
Yeah, felt like there was about 1.52 seconds left.
Mosby, beautiful play to get that ball up and in.
Tough bucket with the shot clock winding down. Yeah, 3.2 seconds left. Welsh over half, puts it up, and it hits the back rim. After one, 23-23. The Sudbury Five and Montreal tied after a pretty slow-moving first quarter. Both teams kind of took a little time to get going offensively, but towards the tail end of that first quarter, started to pick up a little bit.
Very slow, very sloppy in the early going, and anytime you have less than 25 points on the board for the Five, you're kind of wondering, okay, what's going on here? A lot of misses, but some good defensive play on behalf of Montreal and Sudbury on occasion as well. So the teams are getting into that rhythm and into that pattern right now, and we'll see how that translates into play in the second. But Cody John coming together, getting some points on the board. That's a good sign for the Sudbury Five. Morgan as well, collecting some of the rebounds. And Mosby, I don't know if it's the early start, coming back to life here this afternoon. So all in all, it's a good start. And Jamiron Jackson, I don't know about you, Nick. I've always loved the way the guy's played, and now you just see him out there, and he has that take charge attitude, the ability, and I just love his speed, and he makes things happen on the floor.
Yeah, for Sudbury Five fans, probably didn't enjoy watching him up until about a week ago because he has done some damage against the Sudbury Five in the past, but just so much fun to watch, and adds that, as you mentioned, the quickness element from the guard position. So now AJ Mosby and Jackson can kind of go feed off each other and use that speed. It makes it very tough to defend. Dwayne Notice kind of slows the offense down a little bit and kind of works that game. And so it adds that kind of 1-2 difference kind of punch where you have to play a set of defense this lineup and a different set of defense for that lineup. So it gives a nice element and a nice scoring punch. And I mean, 17 points in his debut. He looks like he's going to contribute all season long.
And he's going to pick up as well in this game the way things are going right now, because If Montreal wants to stand around and watch him make plays, that's fine. He'll see that room. He's very quick to, if you want to use the fact that his vision, he's very, he's poised and he can see the opening and take advantage of that. And the thing is, great athletes do that. They have that vision when they're on the floor or they're on the ice. They could just see things differently. I didn't have it. That's why I'm here and not playing any longer. But it's one of those attributes that the better athletes have. It's all about speed, accuracy, and in my case, with Jamiron Jackson, I like his vision on the floor.
Dominic Welsh leading the way for Montreal in that first with 13 points. He leads all scorers as Marc-Andre Fortin goes inside. Cody John leads the way for the Sudbury Five, 5 points. Now Kirkwood back into the game, as is Jalen Hayes. Hayes backing down, puts it up. Raymar Morgan bumped around and could not finish on the tip.
Hayes and Morgan both just a little bit too much on that.
There's Mosby, who's averaging 6.5 rebounds per game. Hayes can't get it to fall, batting for it, fighting. And just no luck for Jalen Hayes early going. Welsh gets the ball back on a pass from Diawara. Now Diawara with the ball. Marc-Andre Fortin gonna set the screen. Notice on Diawara, he's got to do something. Gets it to the cup, and the left hand is good from Diawara.
Well, he found the seam and went right to the basket to make that play for Montreal. A great play there. And the Tundra up by 4.
Mosby gets it to Hayes in the corner for 3. Morgan held down.
Boy, Hayes really struggling to get something in early here.
Mason loses the handle. Might have been a travel, but they let him play on. Welsh. There's a shot and connect. It's Amari Haynes.
Welsh with 13 in the opening quarter, couldn't get the shot, so he decided to pass, and look what happens. Tundra up by 7 now after that bucket.
7 straight to start this second quarter. Hayes back to notice. Into the corner, Kirkwood. And they just can't buy a bucket.
That back pass to the corner by Kirkwood, normally pretty accurate, not in that case.
Mason, blocked from behind, A.J. Mosby. And look at that play as Diawara tips it up to himself.
Great recovery off the backboard and in for Montreal.
Now Morgan draws the double team out to Notice. Around his man, puts it up and gets fouled. Notice took a lot of contact there.
Well, Montreal must have picked up on that game tape from the KW win just the other night. They just seem to be closing the inside on the Sudbury Five. The Five trying to get anything going, swatting at the ball several times. Nothing's going in.
Thing is, they're on their drives. They're getting those kickouts to the 3. They're just not knocking those 3s down. So it allows Montreal to collapse that middle of the paint even more. Because, okay, you're not hitting your shots. We don't necessarily have to close out as hard on them.
We'll squeeze you out if we have to. Fans looking for something to get back into this game emotionally. But I mean, aside from Welsh with 13 in the opening quarter, he's the big marksman. No one in double figures for Sudbury as yet, still early.
Corey Boyd back into the game. He's got Morgan on him. Boyd backing down, going baseline, loses the handle. They're gonna say he stepped out of bounds. No, they're gonna say it's staying with Montreal.
And the coach disputing that call with referee Tommy Wu.
A foul against Raymar Morgan on that play. Looked like Corey Boyd just lost the ball. Now Boyd. Up top, Diawara. Philip Fleury. Back to Boyd. To Fleury. Loses the handle, but somehow it finds its way to Amari Haynes.
Montreal making things happen, even on second opportunities. They keep rolling up the points for a 10-point lead.
Mosby for three. Morgan catches the offensive board and splashes one down.
There you go. Morgan saying, it's about time.
Yeah, first points from the field for the Sudbury Five. They had just one free throw up until that point. Mason, he's going to step back, and shot is short, long rebound. Goes right to Haynes, out of bounds off of Haynes.
The Five will have to do a much better job of cleaning up on those rebounds off the board or off the rim.
Yeah, everyone kind of just watching that one.
Who's going to take it? No, you take it. No, I'll grab. No, didn't work out that well.
Well, timeout on the floor. Sudbury just 3 points in this quarter, while Montreal has 11. They're off to a good start offensively, and now Welsh was doing most of the action in that first, but they're spreading it out. A couple offensive rebounds too, and a couple bounces have gone Montreal's way.
Well, it doesn't have to be Welsh. He can orchestrate some of those plays as well offensively, and a big difference, Montreal making the most of their misses, second or third opportunities. They're getting the points to go in. Sudbury frustrated by their second and third opportunities. It's just not happening for them right now. That's why they're trailing, and they'll have to persevere and continue with their efforts right now in this game to get it going, to get some kind of momentum going here in the second.
Yeah, with the Sudbury Five, you know, a lot of their existence has been not live and die by the three, but the three has been a major part of their game and their success. When they're going, when they're playing well, they're knocking down those shots, and you know, they're getting open looks. They're just a little bit short. Those corner threes just not falling for the Sudbury Five when they normally would.
And I don't know if that's a continuation from what we saw on Saturday. The confidence factor is there. Watching the guys in the shoot around seem to be having fun, very leisurely, buckets going in and what have you. But Montreal doing a good job of being able to stymie the Sudbury Five in this game. Certainly glad that you're with us for this Family Day broadcast on Eastlink and, of course, on the BSL. More action coming up this weekend. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Let's see if the Sudbury Five can bounce back in this game before the half.
Yeah, a win today would mean they go to 3-1 on this 4-game week. It started in London on Tuesday. Up top, Landon Kirkwood from Dwayne Notice.
And that's how you want to start off, right after a break. Big play for the Sudbury Five.
Play they use out of a timeout quite often. And it has about a 95% success rate. Down low, working inside, Amari Haynes.
Roman Wilson trying his best to get the hand, the arm, anything up in terms of blocking that. Came up just short.
Morgan for two, trying his hand on the jumper. Inside, floater, no good, and a second chance bucket again.
Can't be allowing players just to cruise in there and knock that loose ball in. Just too easy.
That was Amari Haynes once again for the Toundra. Morgan sets the screen. Mosby gets inside, puts it up. Offensive foul against A.J. Mosby.
Too hard on that drive. Take a look at this. Here's Mosby going.
Right to the cup and into a couple defenders.
Montreal not backing down in this game. Up by 10.
Boyd had Philip Fleury, decides to go inside, poked away by Evan Harris. Now Boyd poked away again by Harris, and again the steal. They're gonna say out of bounds. What defense from Evan Harris. Look at standing his ground.
Just slapping that ball away.
Right in front of the teammates, loving that effort from Harris. It's going to be Sudbury 5 basketball.
Maybe they claim that it went off the Montreal player, necessitating the inbounds by the 5.
Hayes drops it off to Harris. Harris inside is going to get fouled by Corey Boyd. Should have went up in that situation. That's what we've been talking about with Evan Harris. You know, he wants to pass those out and get those open threes, but sometimes you got to be selfish, right?
Well, as Coach Logan Stutz calls him, the most unselfish player on this team.
Hayes. Cross-court pass, Kirkwood for 3, rattles and drops.
That shot actually thought for a moment before it went in.
Philip Flory had a couple points in that first, a 3 and a 2, knocked away by Notice. Cross-court pass. Marcus Audie, the former London Lightning, into the game. He loses it. Here comes Notice with Kirkwood up top and down. Get on up.
And Kirkwood starting to light it up now. This is what he needs. And if he's got Dwayne Notice to feed him, all the better.
And with that, it's a 5-point lead now for Montreal, down from 10. But Flory left wide open. Doesn't miss many of those. Sudbury between the legs. Notice to Kirkwood.
That's 3 consecutive buckets for Kirkwood.
On passes from Dwayne Notice, who continues to increase his assist stats, averaging 4.7 assists per game. There's Marcus Audie, is going to get fouled by Landon Kirkwood.
Kirkwood, good bounce back here in the second quarter. He's needed to get going.
Kirkwood showing off the bounce. Getting up on that play on a couple of dunks. That'll get the confidence going for Kirkwood. Against KW on Saturday night, Kirkwood 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 of 9 shooting.
Started well.
Started very well. On the season, Kirkwood is averaging 16.4 points a game. Hayes gets it to Notice. Now up to Kirkwood, looking to continue, fading away. Landon Kirkwood keeping it going.
He's at the point where he can't miss now. Stepping back, getting that shot.
Inside Corey Boyd. It's a 1-point game. Kirkwood with the ball to Notice. Notice drops it down. Evan Harris, the reverse.
And the lead for the first time in a long time for the Sudbury 5 by 1.
Defense to offense. Philip Flory looking to get some points back, in a big board from Evan Harris. I'll see if they try to find Kirkwood. Keep the hot hand going. Hayes into the corner. Kirkwood fading away and short on that shot. Audie stepping through, and Hayes grabs the board. Sudbury quickly the other way. Mosby had the defender turning and twisting as Mosby goes down hard.
Yeah, that was a tough one on Mosby as he went down trying to get that shot. And he's taken a couple of bumps so far in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Caught the back part of the leg.
That looked like Jalen Smith looked like he came down on his knees right on the back of the head of Mosby, who was slow to get to the free throw line.
And if he's twisting that way on the court, I would imagine he may have to visit the chiropractor tomorrow too, or at halftime to perhaps get an adjustment. Not a good sign, but he appears to be okay.
First free throw, no good. Mosby.
Some wholesale changes for Montreal. Welsh back on the floor after a really good start in that first quarter.
Into the game, Durrell Tisdale Jr., who started off great for this team, has kind of dropped off. 11.6 points per game for Tisdale. Has scored over 20 points in just 2 of his last 10 games, but is a big piece offensively for this Toundra team. Here's Philip Flory into the lane and finishes off with a nice floater.
Flory uncontested on that shot, and we've got a tie game late in the first quarter.
Mosby, long rebound, goes to Notice, puts it up, hits the front rim, and Antoine Mason has the ball. Mason drops it off for Welsh.
Miscommunication there.
Just a little bit. Antoine Mason played 4 years at Niagara University. His final year there averaged 25.6 points per game. He was 3rd in NCAA scoring in the country that year.
Some impressive stats. Whoops.
Tisdale battling with Notice, gets it to Hayes. Hayes puts it off the glass, short. Notice slips. And a chance for Montreal to run. Welsh gets it out to Flory for 3. And he hits nothing but net.
Well, when Welsh isn't scoring, he's contributing in other ways and setting up Flory on that beautiful basket there. And the lead once again by Montreal by 3.
Jamiron Jackson down to Harris. Poked away, Harris stays with it, gets it up, and Harris will go to the line.
He's battling, he's been battling all game. The veteran will go to the line, see what happens here.
Now we're gonna have a timeout on the court. A 45-42 lead for Montreal as Evan Harris will have some free throws when we go back to the court.
If everyone came to play like Evan Harris does with that typical work ethic, wouldn't be a problem on this team.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a problem. He comes to play, he works hard each and every opportunity. And you'll recall in past seasons, he wasn't or didn't get the ample floor time that he's seeing this year, but this year he's really making a difference.
In the past couple of years, it seemed Sudbury, especially with their big men, kind of went on the younger side to try to develop some players. So you tend to give those players a little more breathing room, a little more run time, especially them being younger legs. But they seem to have shifted a little bit and gone more for a veteran presence with this team, thinking that'll take them to a championship. And that has led to a guy like Evan Harris being leaned on a little bit more, especially with a couple players who came to the lineup, left the lineup, like Andrew Whitsett and Sam Daniel. The guy who's been stable in there has been Evan Harris.
And of course, that's why the team picked up Morgan to help out as well with his experience at the age of 35. And you've got to plug and play players in specific situations. And it's working because Harris has shown us a lot of heart out there. More so than in past seasons. He's getting the opportunity and making things happen.
The guard play in this game for the Sudbury Five has to be a bit better. We saw a lot from Landon Kirkwood, which has allowed Sudbury to get back into the game. But, you know, Mosby and Cody John and Dwayne Notice, they have to help out a little bit as well to kind of keep that defense away from Kirkwood and try to key off him.
And we haven't seen Jamiron Jackson back on the floor in the last couple of minutes, so let's see if he'll make an appearance.
Yeah, back on the court right now. On cue is Jamiron Jackson.
Okay, here he is. It's funny, you can watch a couple of minutes of the game and you'll say, okay, isn't it time for so-and-so to be out there to shake things up a bit? Let's see what he can do.
Harris goes 1 for 2 at the free throw line. Now averaging 5.2 points a game and 4 rebounds. Tisdale turns the corner, going up top, and will head to the free throw line, nearly cram that one down.
Much better play here in the second quarter compared to the sloppiness and the fouls in the opening 12 minutes. And again, certainly indicative. Tied at 23 at the end of one. 45-43, just a 2-point lead for Montreal now here in the second.
Durrell Tisdale Jr., fifth leading scorer on this team at 11.6 points a game. He's 68% free throw shooter. He's scored over 20 points in just 2 of his last 10 games and averaging 9 points a game in his last 7. He started the majority of the season, but is not starting today and misses the free throw. It's on the ground. Marc-Andre Fortin is actually, if they call a jump, they got to jump both Montreal players. Yeah. Look at both. It's being held by 2 Montreal players right there, Tisdale and Fortin. So do they jump? That's a bit of a break for Sudbury.
No, that would be too strange. That would just be a continuation from what we saw Thursday. So. But then again, decisions have been reversed in this league. Too many wet spots on the floor. They're giving it a good going over.
So it'll be Evan Harris and Marc-Andre Fortin jumping. Knocked into the corner. Welsh wide open. Short rimmed it. Rebound out to Notice. Spinning has Kirkwood in the corner. Kirkwood with Fleury on him. Screen from Harris. Kirkwood back up to Notice. Plenty of time on the shot clock. 1:40 to go in quarter number 2. Notice fouled, puts it up.
He was held.
Yeah, he was held.
Notice trying to make his move, going to the basket. Detained by the errant hand, and he'll go to the foul line with the 5 trailing by 1 late with just over a minute to play.
Notice an 82% free throw shooter. He's contributing all across the board. 16.6 points a game, 4.7 assists, and 4 rebounds.
Well, as they say in French and tennis, l'égalité. It's tied at 45. There's a bump.
Offensive foul, Antoine Mason.
And to our friends watching in Quebec and Montreal, and bon après-midi à nos amis francophones aujourd'hui.
I agree.
It's a very nice greeting to our francophone friends throughout Quebec and Ontario. Anywhere you're watching on Eastlink or on BSL, Basketball Super League.
Kirkwood will bring the ball up for Sudbury. 1:20 left to go in quarter number 2. Hounded by Tisdale, and a foul is going to be picked up by Montreal. Free points for Sudbury as Tisdale reaching in.
Referees for today are just Johnny on the spot with their calls. Victor Young, Tommy Wu, and Marty Nadeau. A lot of whistles in this game today.
Kirkwood at the line, short on the first free throw. He's an 88% free throw shooter. Has now just missed 3 free throws on the entire season. And misses the second as well.
Just over a minute to play in a tie game at 45.
Diawara gets it to Philip Fleury, who's going to put up the 2 and 1. Fleury.
Lots of room to make that shot, and of course, goes up.
Jackson got him on the elbow. Philip Fleury played 29 D1 games, 23 of them at Seton Hall, where they made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament that year. Great.
Montreal up by 3, Nick, here. It'd be nice to see the Five get a bucket. We'll see if they can connect, tie things up going into the half.
There's Jackson dropping it off for Harris, who lost it. They get it back. Jackson for 3, and he hits nothing but net.
Well, you get what you wish for. It's a tie game at 48.
Diawara into a double team. Stolen, but a foul called against the Sudbury Five.
It's a good thing these fouls don't accumulate from quarter to quarter into the next quarter. Both teams would be hampered throughout this game in terms of the bonus situation. Just a lot of foul calls. And that's been slowing down the momentum of this game as well.
In bonus in both the first and second quarter. Both ways, as the first one missed by Diawara. And the second one is missed. Evan Harris ripping the ball free. Battling is Forte and Mason. It's going to lead to free throws for Evan Harris.
Well, the fouls are piling up. We'll see how that affects play in quarters 3 and 4. It's a tie game here with a few seconds left on the clock.
Harris gives the Five the lead back. Two for 2.
The veteran comes through with a couple of key shots. The Toundra looking to tie things up, if not go ahead at the half.
It was milliseconds separating shot clock and game clock. Forte for 3. Long rebound goes to Harris. Got to put it up. Not off in time, as we are
inside game trying to get something going for the Five. It's not happening. Montreal coming up with the ball, and that's really a difference of 10 right now, with points in the paint between the Toundra and the Five battling back.
The floater no good from Montreal. Boyd underneath puts it up, and it's good.
Points in the paint again. You miss your first shot, you connect on your second.
Well, we talked about Kirkwood leading the way for the Sudbury Five with 16. Leading the way for Montreal is a combined Dominic Welsh at 13 and Philip Fleury at 13. There's Jalen Hayes getting it going with a deuce.
He needs to respond in a big way this half.
Off the bench for the Montreal Toundra, it was Amari Haynes with 11 points. Off the bench for Sudbury, Jamiron Jackson with 7 points. I've not seen Kelvin Blevins in this game yet so far for the Five. Crossover inside, left hand. Nice finish there by Demons Thien.
Tied at 52 early in the third. Glad you could join us.
High arcing shot from Mosby. Mosby 1 for 7 in that first half, 0 for 4 from the 3. His only saving grace, the 3 for 4 free throws. Tipped, Kirkwood. The steal up ahead to Mosby on the run. That'll get you going.
Good defense by Kirkwood to get his hand on the ball on the steal, setting up Mosby. He wants to get Mosby going here in this third quarter.
Now Corey Boyd, 25-year-old from St. Louis, gets it to Antoine Mason, their leading scorer, 5th leading scorer in the league. And Mason just hasn't found the scoring touch in this game.
Yeah, a couple of named players have come at Really cold here this afternoon. Somewhat surprising on both benches.
Mason, no points in that first half. He averages 20.8 on the season. Hayes, the hook shot.
Nothing but rim.
There's Boyd, coast to coast, the lay-in.
Beautiful play by Boyd, finding that seam and making that drive.
Dwayne, notice, count it, and the foul.
Getting the payoff on the backboard there by Notice. Again, got to get inside, take a look at the move. Going to his right and up and in.
Beautiful in and out dribble by Dwayne Notice, and then doing what he has done all season long, and that's get into the body of the defense, create that contact, and force the refs to blow their whistle.
Notice on the three-point play and the 5 up by 3.
Demosthene with the ball up top. Gets it to Flory, who had 13 in that first half. Boyd backing down, looking inside. Shot up, no good. Londole can't get it to fall. Mosby crossing over, puts up the floater. Morgan on the board. Gets it to Hayes, drops it down to Mosby, who just got up. And a block, but a foul called. Londole got him on the body. Mosby just kind of getting up and gets up right into the play.
Yeah.
Almost gets knocked back down.
Foul aside, he just seemed to overwhelm Mosby, but Mosby back at the line. Trying to increase this lead, and the 5 off to a good start so far after a couple of minutes. Converts the 2, and it's a 5-point lead.
Corey Boyd hands it off to Mason, who uses the screen. Has Notice on his back, goes inside to Boyd. Nice catch. Pass out Londole. Short on the 3. Kirkwood. One hand rebounds it to himself. Mosby stops, pops. Long rebound just goes out of bounds.
Lineup change for Montreal. Bit of a switch up.
Londole comes out of the game. Into the game, Amari Haynes, who had 11 points off the bench to lead all bench scorers in the game. Looking to go back inside to Boyd. Mason uses the screen, has Morgan on him. Mason inside, puts it up off the glass, no good. Hayes, the big board, falls, gets it to Morgan, up to Notice. Behind the back to Kirkwood, in the corner. Some razzle, no dazzle.
That would have been pretty, real pretty.
Demosthene into the defense. A block is going to be called to Jalen Hayes.
That's a tough call for Jalen Hayes right there, as Demosthene went in, flying off his feet, goes in hard.
He was outside of the restricted area, so he's in okay position, but I think maybe just moving a little bit. Morgan is going to check out of the game. I think might have a cut, so Evan Harris will have to come in as Morgan gets some attention. Looked like he cut in his left hand, on the back of the hand. At the free throw line, Demosthene knocks down the first one.
He's been rather quiet here this afternoon for the Toundra, scoring-wise, but getting into it now.
Yeah, he started for them, but only played 5 minutes in that first half. First points for Demosthene.
Montreal trailing by 3 near the midway mark of quarter number 3.
Hayes across to Kirkwood. Kirkwood, a foul is going to be charged to the Tundra as Hayes got hit, setting a screen. Yep.
Physical contest here this afternoon with the numerous fouls called.
Yeah, a little better in this third quarter so far. That first 2 quarters, we were quickly into the bonus for both sides. Mosby gets it to Kirkwood, drops it down to Harris, keeps the ball high, and Harris for 2.
And the veteran connects. Good sign for him.
Hand off, Philip Flory with the ball. Diawara goes inside to Corey Boyd. Spinning baseline. Nice move by Corey Boyd.
He spun around Evan Harris on that play to connect. And the Tundra not backing down. They're down by 3.
Kirkwood gets it across to Dwayne Notice. Wants a screen from Harris. Gets it. Gets inside. Shot. It comes free, and a foul is going to be charged to Jalen Hayes, reaching around from behind.
Notice on that scoring play had all kinds of room. Uncontested, just off the rim.
Timeout called. It is a 3-point lead for the Sudbury Five. I think Notice got so free because Mason got hit with a screen from Harris. Nobody called the screen and took Mason completely out of the play.
Good start for the Sudbury Five. Missed on a couple of opportunities here, but still holding their own with, they've got the lead by a couple of points, so no major concerns. And again, trying to get more involvement in terms of the scoring, whether it be Notice, whether it be Mosby, or anyone else. And good to see Evan Harris get a couple of points on the board as well.
Now Montreal, their last 5 games, they've won 4 of those games. 1 win against London, a win against KW. So they are a team that is much improved from the earlier part of the season and kind of rounding out that lineup. We know they have a deep bench that they like to tap into. It was going to be a competitive game. We knew that, especially as the end of this week is for the Sudbury Five, and then also at the same time Montreal played last night in Montreal, come on a bus all the way. So we maybe weren't expecting 120, 130 for each team, but both teams have played pretty well.
Well, and it's a testament to what the Five are up against this afternoon. Montreal, with Marcus Audie on the bench, hasn't seen a lot of court time, so the coaching staff for the Tundra right now quite confident with what they've got on the floor, that they don't have to rely on Audie, who's got tons of NBL experience and can certainly help out a team, but they're coasting along, keeping within distance, and that's what you want. If you're getting blown out, fine, then you might change things up, but when you're only down by 3 and there's lots of time left on the clock, you'll continue rolling with the guys who are performing.
I think Sudbury has done a pretty good job, at least in the early part of this third quarter, limiting those turnovers that we saw and the sloppy play that we saw in that first half. Much
better, and it couldn't continue. Otherwise, they'd be on the deficit end of this game right now with Montreal.
So 6:44 left to go in quarter number 3. It is a 3-point lead for the Sudbury Five as Corey Boyd backing down with Harris, who gets charged for a foul.
An errant hand or elbow, perhaps. He was mixing it up.
Yeah, reaching in, got Boyd right in the face. Yeah, these guys have been battling. You see it there. They've been really letting them play down low, I'll say that. I know there's been a lot of fouls called, but the posting up is they've kind of just let those hand checks go. Dropping it down, Corey Boyd, left hand.
Corey Boyd, strong game here this afternoon, going inside for Montreal. Now the Tundra down by 1, just over 6 to go here in the third.
Notice gets it to Hayes. He'll head to the free throw line.
And again, we saw that happen too often on Saturday against the KW Titans, where the Five were hard pressed to get inside to get a clear shot away. Yes, they'll get the foul call, but they needed more on that Saturday, and of course this afternoon trying to get that momentum, the rhythm going.
Hayes at the free throw line. He's an 82% free throw shooter, averaging 14.3 points a game and 6.7 rebounds.
Jamiron Jackson back in as Harris goes off. Bit of a breather there.
Corey Boyd will take it over the timeline for Montreal. Antoine Mason directing traffic. Boyd has done a lot of the scoring for this Toundra team in the second half. Turns it over. Hayes picks it up, gets it across to John. It's a return pass from Mosby. High rebound, bounces off the top of the backboard.
Cody John has tapered off in terms of his scoring last couple of games. He was pretty hot there for a spell. Midweek last week against London.
Yeah, still averaging 14 points a game, but just hasn't had that, big game, the over 20 points where we've seen him do a couple times earlier this season. Harris getting the board to Jackson, who finds John, crosses over, spins back out to Jackson. Finds John, gets his man in the air, puts it up. An offensive foul going to be called to Cody John, who went down hard.
Paid the price on that contact.
Yeah, favoring that left ankle. Here it is. Good job by Montreal. Getting in there, standing their ground.
Just the way he landed there, Nick.
Yeah. Staying in the game. And once again, battling with Mason, and this is what we're talking about. They're letting them play. Mason inside, fights off the defender.
Toundra just keep battling back all game long, not letting the Five get away with any kind of rhythm or momentum here.
Jackson crossing over. Looking inside for Harris. Cody John left wide open for three. Short rim. Morgan, the one-handed board, has it poked away. Crossover. Diawara into the paint to Mason. Now Welsh back into the game too for the Toundra. Fade away baseline. Nice touch by Haynes.
Good play there. Hard to defend on that shot. And now the Toundra with the lead once again. The lead changing hands many times here this afternoon by just 1 point, 64-63. How will this wind up?
Jackson can't hit the two. Pass ahead. Mason wide open, short. And Morgan gets the board for Sudbury.
Okay, the Five will have to stop missing on those opportunities for two and to get something going here because this momentum is shifting towards Montreal.
Mosby up to John. Jackson wide open for three. Splash.
That's how you end that spell. Jamiron Jackson.
Give him double digits. He's up to 10 on the game. Stripped away by Morgan, who got a paw in there on that ball. Stays with Montreal. Diawara using the screen from Forte. Underneath. And Diawara gets fouled by Morgan.
Morgan with that good play. And the thing is, Diawara looking for some room. And Morgan looking for the replay to see what he did wrong here. Talking to the referee. It wasn't me, he's saying. It wasn't me.
At the line is Diawara.
That was off the rim hard.
Missed the first one. 75% free throw shooter. Diawara averaging 7.5 points a game. Makes the second. 1 point lead for the Sudbury Five. There's a 2 point lead at halftime. John Double team comes. Jackson with the ball. He's going to put up a shot, a tough one. And look at Evan Harris flying in for the offensive board. And a jump ball is going to be called as Welsh and Harris will jump for it.
Harris. Wow. Looked like Batman out there, just flying right through and getting his hands on that ball. Didn't want to give it up. Good effort by the veteran.
Welsh, who had a great first half, had 13 points, has not scored in the second half so far with 3 to go in the third quarter. Jump ball tipped right to John. Sudbury retains possession, but just 5 on the shot clock. Inside, Morgan's got to put it up. Got to put it up. Gets the shot off, it hits the rim, and Montreal grabs the board. Diawara now crossing over, and Dwayne Notice is going to get charged for the foul.
And the fouls keep on rolling in. Watch Notice here, up.
Now timeout on the court. It is a 1-point lead for the Sudbury Five. It really continues to be anybody's game at this point. Neither team has gone on those prototypical basketball runs where we've seen, good stretches of offense and kind of widening the lead. The largest lead of the game was Montreal at 10, and that was in that second quarter, but it's kind of just been back and forth and plodding along in this game.
Yeah, no major tears by any team, and the thing is, it's one of those games, Nick, low scoring, physical, lots of fouls, and the thing is, we're going to see this game because, after all, Sudbury's got to play there, so they could expect the Five at least could expect another hard game. But if this game is any indication of what the Five could be in for while they're on the road, it's going to be a tough one to scratch and claw your way through, because I can see why Montreal beat London, beat KW, and the thing is, they're gaining that momentum, a lot more confident play.
Yeah, we weren't really sure what to expect from this new franchise coming into the season. Newfoundland is new to the Basketball Super League, but they aren't a new team. They played in the TBL last year. Montreal is a new team, and you got to give credit to their coaching staff, who have built a very nice program in their first season.
They're playing tough, and the thing is, anytime you can provide that resistance here, I mean, you're down by 1 late in the third. I mean, that speaks volumes. Now you've tied it as to what we can expect here. I mean, this is no gimme for the Sudbury Five.
Chance to take the lead. Montreal has that 1-point advantage now.
It doesn't have to be pretty, Nick. And this is far from being a pretty game.
Jackson off the screen. Now it goes to John from Dwayne Notice. Hayes comes up to set the screen. To go inside. Jalen Hayes looking to get it going. Back and down, fading away. Jalen Hayes.
He needs that right now. Got to get a few more of those.
Up to 6 points on the game for Jalen Hayes. Mason, he'll draw the foul and head to the line. It's a veteran play by Antoine Mason. Just 2 points on the game for Mason, 1 for 12 shooting. Guy who averages 20.8 points a game.
This game reminds me of a championship fight. Pick the sport. Knock him down, drag him out, whether it goes 12 rounds or 15, it's not going to be decided until the very end. It's last man standing.
Notice with the ball, haven't seen much of A.J. Mosby in the last few minutes for the Sudbury Five on the bench right now. John, screen from Hayes, 5 on the shot clock. John steps back, puts it up, hand in the face. Good defense by the Tundra.
Cody John really struggling this afternoon.
Diawara allowed to go all the way into the paint. No defense there.
Too easy for Montreal to get those points on the board. Up by 3. Cody John getting some good looks. Due to connect.
Notice on the Euro step is going to get fouled. Notice will go to the line. And now here's a guy who can slow the game down, pick up those fouls, get the Tundra into foul trouble, and pick up some points at the same time. Notice misses the first one. Notice by far has the most free throws taken by the Sudbury Five. 105 free throw attempts coming into this game. The next highest is 83, and that's AJ Mosby. There's a shot, long rebound goes to Jackson, a chance for Sudbury to run. John thought about pulling up, notice, hesitates, shot, hits the front rim, and Mason on the board.
Five hard pressed to connect on some of those longer shots from the corner.
Mason looking to get it going. Welsh on the board, and Welsh going to the line.
It's like a broken record each and every time. Montreal coming back, can't get the first one away. Five called for the foul. Just a few seconds left here in quarter number 3. We'll see how this plays out in the home stretch. Montreal up by 4. They'll try to make it 5.
Welsh getting those first points of the third quarter. He had 13 in the first half. Now at 14 to lead the way for the Tundra. Second free throw is no good. Rebound goes to Hayes. Notice with Welsh all over him. Turns the corner around the defender into the defense, and it's going to be Montreal ball.
Montreal not playing like a 5-7 team, are they?
Not at all playing like a team that has won 4 of their last 5 and want to climb the standings. They're looking at themselves in last place, and they believe they're not a last place team and want to squeak into the playoffs or improve that record enough to get into the playoffs in their first season.
Newfoundland at 5-4, Windsor 5-5, and Montreal at 5-7. This would be a huge win for them.
Diawara over the timeline. Goes into the defense. Up fake, drops it down,
nice
and the two-hand crunch.
Diawara with the vision there, just passing it off. No room to get the shot away, dish it off, and big bucket there by Montreal.
Yeah, big difference in play in the third quarter. Hayes from the corner, too strong. And end of 3, 74-68. And, you know, just looking on the court, big difference between the energy on the bench of the Montreal Tundra and the energy on the bench of the Sudbury Five. Completely different. And, you know, if Sudbury wants to get back into this game and pull out a win, there has to be that renewed excitement and want and desire to win it.
Well, even the crowd is pretty quiet here. We've got a great crowd, but Montreal's just better. We're not blind to the fact that, you know, it's all about Sudbury, but I mean, Montreal's playing some really good ball, and you know what, when you can do that on the road, especially after taking that bus trip, Nick, 5-7, I mean, they look like they're a team that's on the upswing, and they're ready to surpass Windsor, ready to take on Newfoundland as well, and ready to make a move in the standings. And who knows what could happen by the time the playoffs roll around as to a possible first-round matchup or what have you, but they're just playing better basketball in this game.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen with injuries down the stretch, and, you know, players come and go. But this Montreal team looks exactly like that, a team that wants to win as a collective group,
That's right.
And I mean, when you have that in place, when everybody is working towards the common goal of a W rather than individual stats, you're going to have success. You may not have the best athletes on the court, or you may not have the best scorers, but if you can combine as a team, this Montreal team can get the job done, and they've proven it against London and KW, and now they're proving it against Sudbury. Sudbury, though, wants maybe a page out of KW's playbook, and in the fourth quarter on Saturday night, KW outscored Sudbury 32-20 in the fourth. It's one quarter left, and really lay it all on the line.
Well, it all depends, and it comes back to that old expression, who wants it more at this time? And sometimes we'll always say, you know, who wants to take, you know, the leadership role on a team, on the bench, anywhere, and say, you know what, I can do this. I can't do it by myself, but I need you guys to rally around me, and maybe I can come up with the big basket, the big play, whatever it takes, the big defensive stuff. But you know what, the big guns do need some help.
Yeah, and you know, the scoring has to come from multiple sources for the Sudbury Five. And you know, let's just say Sudbury ends up losing this game. It's a 2-2 week, but an upsetting 2-2 week when it could have possibly been a 4-0 week, especially with the way that the KW fourth quarter went on Saturday night and the way that this game is going. If you pull this one out, that 3-1 looks a lot better and feels a lot better, and you can build towards what's going to happen in the coming week. Couple of teams, or one team from the TBL coming on back-to-back games, and it's the Jamestown Jackals, I believe, next Saturday and Sunday here in Sudbury.
Well, momentum is everything, and a loss today would certainly dampen the spirits and enthusiasm with this team. So we'll see what happens, and if the Five can put it together, do whatever they can. They've got to be better than Montreal. They've got to be better starting right now.
AJ Mosby is back out there for the Sudbury Five. He's been Mr. Fourth Quarter in his time with Sudbury, but just 9 points on this game, 2 of 12 shooting. Morgan gets the seal, puts it up, and one, Raymar Morgan.
Well, that's a start. Will that be the finish? I don't know, but it's a start for Raymar Morgan right now. Getting a big basket.
Averaging,
and of course, you know, a lot's been expected upon him, from him, on his shoulders, and anything he can contribute offensively, defensively right now has got to help the Five, because they need a pickup. They need some leadership. They need some impetus to get going.
Morgan missed that free throw. It batted up in the air, and Sudbury thought it was off Montreal. They call it Montreal basketball, 4-point lead. Sudbury scored just 18 points in that third quarter. Mason looking inside, stripped away by Kirkwood. They're going to call a kick ball against Landon Kirkwood.
Love to see that one again. Here we are.
Yeah, kind of knocked it down, and then when he knocked it down with the hand, it went back to the foot, and he kind of dragged the ball forward with his foot. So they call it a kick ball. It'll stay with Montreal. Under 10 on the shot clock, though. Welsh with 5 on the shot clock. In-out dribble, gets it to the corner. Diawara dribbles, and a shot clock violation against Montreal.
Too late. Mosby with the directions out there. Kirkwood will inbound.
Kirkwood with the ball. Stuck at 16 points. That's what he had at halftime. Still leads the way for the Sudbury Five. Mosby turns the corner. Foul is going to be on the floor, so no bucket. Mosby 2 for 12. Jalen Hayes 3 for 13. And Dwayne Otis 2 for 10 shooting.
And if you wonder why it's such a low-scoring affair, it just seems that anytime anyone gets an opportunity, they get fouled and slows down the momentum of this game.
Morgan sets the screen. Notice left wide open. Dwayne Notice put him on notice.
That's what I'm talking about, the big guns coming through.
Notice was at 9 points on 2 of 10 shooting. He's now up to 12 with a big 3 that gets it within 1. Londoll sets the screen for Mason. Mason puts the shot up.
That was a late whistle there, and not unless they're, in terms of that bump on the shot by Notice.
We'll call it a slight flail. It's kind of on the floor, so no shooting.
Few the histrionics courtesy of Kirkwood.
Welsh steps in. 3. Big weak side rebound from Kirkwood, gets it ahead. Drop off pass, Mosby, the 5 up running, take the lead back.
Set up by Dwayne Notice on that pass originally from Kirkwood.
Nice play by Diawara, getting it down to Corey Boyd. Uses the fundamentals, getting Morgan in the air.
Morgan with another foul, and he has that look on his face. Yeah, my bad. That was me.
At the free throw line, Corey Boyd has 10 points. He'll stay there for the second.
Boyd's played a strong game off the boards, getting some points. He's not going to light it up and get you 30, 35 points, but good play today.
Oh, he's been in foul trouble as well. Offensive board on the free throw. Boyd going for the jam. It gets out. It's going to be out of bounds off of Montreal. And they're going to actually talk about this one and turn it over. It's going to stay with Montreal. Corey Boyd had an opportunity to throw it down. That's a couple offensive boards off a free throw, which just makes the coaching staff pull out the hair.
For those who have that hair to lose, it's one of those scenarios you better be sure on that stuff.
Well, why do you think Dennis Gauthier doesn't have any? He coached me.
That's a testament to being a true basketball coach. You either have it or you don't. I guess Logan's succession has been a lot better with the full head of hair, but needless to say, there's some plays that just have coaches shaking their heads.
Second chance opportunity for the Tundra as Fortin gets the 2 off the rebound. Now Morgan going at Fortin. Morgan backs down, puts it up, it rattles, and Mason grabs the rebound.
Trying to bump off his defender at the time, had the shot, didn't work.
Mason too strong. Offensive board, Welsh too strong. And Notice comes away with the ball. Notice ahead to Cody John, has to tiptoe the line, trying to find it into Morgan, threw it into a double team. Up ahead to Mason. Nice catch and finish from Antoine Mason.
No one there after Notice didn't pick it up and ran right by him.
Mosby directing traffic with the 5 stuck 3. Morgan got hit in the knee. Play continues. John just can't get that hook shot in.
Yeah, Morgan looks like he's laboring out there.
Into the corner, Philip Fleury. And a turnover for the Montreal Tundra. Some fresh legs and some much needed fresh legs for the Sudbury Five come in.
We always used to say when we were playing pickup basketball, would you like a handle with that if you can't hold on to the ball?
Yeah, normally turnovers in life are a good thing, just not in basketball. You know, the apple turnovers.
My favorite.
Delicious. Jackson into Hayes. Hayes drops it down to Harris, and Harris will go to the free throw line.
I think this is going to be one of the higher, one of those games with the higher number of fouls so far this season. It just seems like it started right from the opening tip up until now, the constant fouls.
Harris at the free throw line. He is 3 for 4 from the charity stripe. That 4 for 5. He's got 8 points on the game. He is in a bit of foul trouble with 4 personal fouls. Morgan also in some foul trouble with 3.
Paris getting the points. 5 down by 1. 8 minutes to go.
Mason crossing over. Philip Flory steps into a 2.
Flory quietly has done very well for Montreal in this game. Some good offense, very consistent.
He leads the way scoring-wise with 15 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Very efficient. Hayes inside, rises up, Jalen Hayes.
That's the Jalen Hayes play that prompted the Five to sign him. And with that signing comes the big hopes of being able to add a lot of important secondary scoring.
He's got 10 points and 9 rebounds now, so a rebound short of a double-double. Another offensive board for the Toundra. Mason going into the defense. Harris battling. It's going to stay with Montreal with 8 on the shot clock.
Persistent, the Toundra all over that ball.
The offensive boards. And they say that Sudbury is winning the offensive rebounding battle at 8-6 into the 4th quarter, but seems like there's been a few more for Montreal.
Hey!
And Welsh is going to give a shove to Jackson. That you can't do, and it's a change in possession. Sudbury has the ball now.
In some plays, it's quite apparent there's no love lost between these two teams and some of the players. Physical matchup, and the score is certainly indicative. Normally, we'd be, in some cases, close or over 100 points by one team at this stage of the game.
Well, that London 141-125 win in Sudbury. London was over 100 at the end of the 3rd quarter. There's Landon Kirkwood for 3. Mean mugging the way back.
Yeah, he likes to dog it up when he's successful. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's a 2-point lead now for Sudbury. Welsh dropping it down to Forte. Hayes grabs it on the floor. Here comes the 5 running, bounce pass. Jackson somehow gets it to Kirkwood in the corner. 5, 4, 3.
And again, Kirkwood breaking out of that drought where he was stuck at 16. He loves the crowd and the crowd loves him.
Yeah, stuck at 16 until, just a few moments ago. But how about Jackson? Mid-air, grabbing the ball, controlling it, getting it into the corner for Kirkwood, right in front of the Sudbury 5 bench. That is 5 basketball.
No-brainer for the coaching staff and obtaining him, because that's what he does. He's a smart guy. Out there, he's got the wherewithal on the court and being able to get the ball to the guys who can put in the points. If he doesn't score them himself, he can pass off just as easily to Kirkwood, and we just saw 2 clutch buckets by Kirkwood now. So is this going to be the turning point for the 5 to ride that momentum?
Yeah, back-to-back threes from Landon Kirkwood. It gives the Sudbury 5 a 5-point lead. Now the onus has to shift a little bit to defense, specifically boxing out. They're playing good initial defense, but it's so deflating and frustrating as a team when that shot goes up and the rebound goes right to Montreal. And so for the Sudbury 5, a little bit of a change in focus there. The offense, we always know with them, is going to eventually come. It's how they're playing on defense that'll dictate it.
The last couple of minutes here are going to be real interesting, because we know what happened Saturday, Nick, and the thing is, it's a matter of momentum is so precious for this Sudbury 5 team. They've got to ride that wave, and they've managed to steal some wins this season. They've lost some games in the last couple of minutes as well. So it's a very precious commodity for this team. Can they do that right now on Kirkwood's 3-pointers? The 2 3-pointers that he has successfully made to perhaps say, okay, guys, we're back in this. We can take this right now. Mindset is very fragile for some players, and once they get on the roll, they can take off and do it. But you don't want to reverse that trend either.
On the family day long weekend, the Sudbury Five hoping to send the families home happy.
Crowd starting to pick up. They're getting into it. They're loving it. They're feeding off of it.
Almost at the halfway mark of this fourth quarter. It is 85-80 for Sudbury. Mason going into the teeth of the defense. Sudbury coming away with it. Mosby steps through and somehow gets that one to go.
Wow, that was a tough bucket for Mosby. He succeeded going up. 2 defenders he had to deal with at the time, and he connects.
Give Mosby 13 on the game to go along with 5 assists. Landon Kirkwood leading the way for Sudbury with 22 points. Flory misses the shot. Jalen Hayes lets it go out of bounds off Montreal. Now, Dwayne Notice does just have 12 points, but he has 8 assists and 6 rebounds for the Five. Here's Jackson, who's also in double figures with 10. Mosby uses the screen. Jackson for 3. Hits the side rim.
Had a lot of time to get that shot underway.
Flory gets it to Welsh. Too strong on the 3.
Now Montreal's starting to miss.
Yeah, Welsh had a great first half with 13 points, but he's really been stuck in the second.
This is Sudbury's game to win.
Mosby will put up a 3, too strong. Welsh on the board. Welsh had 13 in the first half, just a free throw in the second half. A block is going to be called to the Sudbury Five, and Mason will go to the line.
It's a tough one here. Take a look at this one, Nick. Here's the pass initially. Mason going up, kind of leads with his shoulder.
Yeah, hard fall from Mosby as well.
How do you again, it's that question. The age-old question, how do you defend against the lead or a charge like that? If it's a charge, it's a penalty. It's a foul. But in a situation like that, that's a difficult play to defend against.
And so much of Mason's game is making the appearance be that he is getting fouled when he's jumping into the defender, creating that contact.
Yes.
Giving really the defender no space and really no other choice but to hit with the body. So crafty and good at that, but he missed both free throws.
Well, the veterans can pull that off well.
Just a 51% free throw shooter. It's a 7-point lead. Morgan has Flory on him, going inside. Morgan! A foul is going to be called to Philip Flory.
Looked like Morgan's elbow went up. Watch this closely here. Morgan takes the step.
Yeah,
boom.
The old chicken wing.
Yep. We've seen some rather aggressive play on the floor here. The old chicken wing.
So Flory will head to the bench as Morgan is at the free throw line. Morgan on the game has 6 points, 7 rebounds, 3 personal fouls.
And you didn't see any of this physical play that you're watching today in the NBA All-Star game because it was pretty well anything goes. We're not calling fouls today. It's all about the stars to shine. Do whatever you want out there.
Now we got an all-star game of our own coming to Sudbury in March. It'll be fun, all the festivities here at the arena. It's going to be a great crowd on hand as always.
And we get to call it.
Flory blocked by Kirkwood. And a couple of offensive boards go the way of Montreal.
Good third effort, not the second effort, but the third effort by Montreal to get that, to narrow the deficit to 6 with 4 minutes to go.
That was Haynes on the second rebound. Notice loses the ball. Smith to Flory. Back and down, gets it down to Boyd, stripped away out of bounds off of Sudbury.
Was that Hayes who stripped?
Yeah, he's done a pretty good job at anytime the ball comes down, ripping it free.
No replay on that particular situation, so we've got another timeout.
88-82 for the Sudbury Five. Now it's just about, if Montreal wants to trade baskets back and forth, but we saw what happens when they're allowed to get those offensive rebounds and the second chance points. Again, Sudbury doing a really nice job on the initial defense. It's the second chance opportunities that is keeping Montreal in the game because the offense is working for Sudbury.
Yes, it is, and the thing is, it could come down to perhaps a last shot or a last block. You don't want to let Montreal get too close in this situation where they might have that opportunity, because we've seen that happen, and that could prove costly. But for the Five, momentum riding in their factor right now. And the thing is, whether you want to go Mosby or Kirkwood, Cody John struggling right now, so he's on ice. Dwayne Notice, maybe he's due, but you got a couple of big guns right now. Montreal knows this. And again, if Kirkwood from three-point territory can get a couple of shots away, they could perhaps, put Sudbury, at least create that distance, get away from Montreal, a little bit of breathing room right now, which is what they need. And I would think that Sudbury really needs this win right now, just to go 3-1 on the homestand, take the week off, or at least from games, and get ready for the weekend, iron out some of the kinks in practice.
Exactly. Well, we are going to go back to the floor as we are winding down here in Sudbury in this fourth quarter. Can Sudbury pull it out? It's a 6-point lead with 3:48 left to go. It'll be Montreal ball. Montreal to inbound it. Fleury into the corner. They've had some success going with Boyd. Fleury batting, and the Sudbury Five come away with the loose ball.
Two misses by the Toundra, certainly to the benefit of Sudbury, up by 6, 3.5. Who's going to make the shot?
Mosby uses the screen. Notice. Shot good. Dwayne Notice.
What did we say? Mosby, Notice, or Kirkwood? So Notice gets a chance to contribute.
Big three gets this lead up to 9.
Couple of bumps.
Screen set.
Whoa!
And a block is going to be called. Jalen Smith looked like he stuck out that right arm. Take a look at this three from Dwayne Notice. Hayes saying he got pushed straight into Notice. Doesn't matter. Still hits. So that'll be Dwayne Notice's 4th personal foul.
I offer no apologies for getting carried away on some of these hits. It's been a very physical game this afternoon between these two teams. A couple of these guys are going to need an ice bath after this one.
There'll be another long ride back to Montreal for the Toundra. Diawara has it poked from behind by Kirkwood. There's a hit and one. Corey Boyd gets it to fall.
He bullied himself into that scoring situation there. Fought off the defender. That's Morgan initially, and Hayes coming in.
Tough bucket by Boyd. Can make it a 6-point game with a free throw. And he does.
Less than 3 to go. How will Sudbury try to put this game on ice right now with the lead of 6 is the big question.
Mosby gets it to Notice. Notice will use the screen. He's got Fleury on him. Goes inside, puts it up. Dwayne Notice, what a tough bucket.
He had to muscle his way in past Fleury to get that bucket. Again, that's crucial for the 5.
Notice in the weight room. Now Boyd going back at Morgan. Dribbles it off his foot, picks it up, drops it down to Welsh, who puts it up, and Welsh will go to the charity stripe.
Notice with 2 key plays, a 3-pointer there, and getting the deuce as he goes inside.
There's the foul. Kirkwood reaching in.
He's got quite the reach. You take a look at his gangly arms, Kirkwood. He can reach.
Welsh has played well. Only a 25% free throw shooter, but that's only because he shot 4 of them coming into this game.
Again, a 6-point lead with 2 to go.
Dominic Welsh's 3rd game in a Montreal uniform. Under 2 to play. It's a 6-point lead for the Sudbury 5. Mosby has it knocked away. Near half court. 5 to shoot. Kirkwood, front rim, and Welsh a big board for Montreal. Behind the back, Welsh gets inside. Oh. What a finish.
Cut inside that seam right there. Mosby, Morgan couldn't stop. Okay. Now we're down to a 4-point lead. How does this play out with less than 90 seconds to go?
Both teams have 2 timeouts each. Hayes thought about the 3. Drop down pass. They keep it moving. Hayes. And good defense there by Haynes.
Couple of misses by the 5.
Welsh behind the back, loses the handle, gets it out. And a timeout is called on the floor by Montreal, saving what could have been a scramble play.
2 misses by Sudbury after, in particular, we've seen shades of this before, Nick. I'm not going to get carried away here emotionally, but this is getting tight. Montreal is getting closer, and Sudbury is allowing Montreal to inch closer here. After all, you have the 6-point lead. You've got to be able to get that shot, get him. You go for 2 or you go for 3, but the misses are coming back now, and Montreal in possession. Still plenty of time left on the clock.
Yeah, Montreal taking that timeout, probably telling everyone just take a breather, slow down a little bit. Welsh with some really nice play, that beautiful lay-in that he had, but then trying to attack when it wasn't there on that last play, going behind the back in some traffic, near turnover. So take it when it's given to you,
yes,
but slow it down if it's not. And Montreal has a great opportunity. They've kept it within striking distance, which is what we talked about into this 4th quarter. And they have a chance to come away with a win on the road. And if they do so, I mean, it may be a statement turning point for their season to keep going into the playoffs.
It's all how you manage the clock with a lead or in a deficit situation. When you're trailing, you've got to capitalize on your opportunities, make that drive. But for Sudbury, trying to ice the game, missing, and that's not a good sign. We'll see what happens here. We've got just over a minute to go. How is this going to play out?
Yeah, Dwayne Notice with a couple massive buckets. That 3 that he hit, and then I don't know how he got that 2 off. You'd seem to think they'd go back to Dwayne Notice to try to get the job done in the last few possessions. It is Montreal ball, stuck 4 with 1:08 left to play.
It's always a great time at any game right now to be in this situation. We'll see how this unfolds with a minute to go.
Boyd goes inside, and Boyd's going to go to the line.
Morgan on the foul.
Should be Morgan's 5th personal foul. So 1 away from fouling out is Morgan once again. Boyd at the free throw line's a 55% free throw shooter. First one is no good.
That's a big miss.
That is 1 for 4 from the line in this game. to make it a one-possession game. Boyd is hearing it from the crowd, and he misses. Jalen Hayes comes away with a massive rebound, and he's just going to take it over half court, around the defender, loses it, into the defender. Morgan offensive board, he puts it up, and Morgan's going to get fouled, and I think head coach Logan Stutz just saying, whoa, Nelly.
Well, that's 4 missed foul shots for Montreal consecutive at the line right there. Shots that could conceivably have tied this game. It's just the way that this game is unfolding right now. Now Sudbury with a chance to make it a 5-point lead.
And Morgan does hit the free throw,
but Corey Boyd missing 4 consecutive foul shots.
Yeah, neither team has been great at the charity stripe. Sudbury shooting 65%, Montreal 53%, but the difference is the clutch free throws and Sudbury hitting theirs.
And Morgan doing his thing, the 5 with a 6-point lead. As I said earlier, this game is for Sudbury to win.
Turnover forced by the 5 as Welsh loses it. The defense from Jalen Hayes, and a foul going to be called to Montreal with 37.6 to go.
Now the Toundra in trouble. Notice gets this one, which he does. You're up by 7. Some good clock management should be able to procure the victory for Sudbury. Now you're up by 8.
Notice goes 2 for 2, and if you're Montreal, tough on the road to hit those deep threes, but you got to take it as Welsh misses the 2, and Mosby comes away with the board. Flory will foul him.
It should be with a bucket here. That could pretty well seal the deal. But what other option does Montreal have? I mean, they had to do something. Stop the clock.
Yeah, the threes just haven't really been falling for the Toundra like they were in that first half. Scoring slowed down. Toundra just at 89 points. As Mosby hits the first to make it a 9-point game.
Notice up to 19. Kirkwood with 22. Mosby with a couple of key buckets.
Flory for 3. No good, and Kirkwood comes away with the board. That should do it for Sudbury.
Just kill it.
Over the timeline, Jalen Hayes will finish with a double-double. And the Sudbury 5 come away with a 99-89 win and go 3-1 on their 4-game week. Got to give Montreal a lot of credit. They played last night. They hopped on a bus, drove right to Sudbury, played a 2 p.m. game and stayed in it right to the final moments, but it's the Sudbury 5 who do close it out and close this week out on a positive.
Well, it looked for a while like the Sudbury 5 were on that bus for Montreal, just by the way they played and the fatigue factor or what have you, just the lack of focus. But again, managing to come back and win this game for Sudbury is huge.